So this project is called Forever Glacier, has 18 paintings of each of the large mammals, 4 more paintings of showing all the small mammals of the 4 ecosystems. And then there were 3 others from the Centennial, including the one from the going to sun. So there's 25 pieces in the whole traveling exhibit, and it has all these skulls and things like that. And for the young ones, there's a virtual reality thing you can get on. And see, it was all filmed at different times up there. And this is the kind of the mini version.
This whole show is about preserving the wild places. I hope in 3 generations from now, I mean, I know glaciers are melting in Glacier, right? Different things, so we can't ignore some of these tendencies, but these animals, including ourselves, we are one of God's creation. We need a place to live and to go out and walk and breathe and have good air and good water. So, yeah, it's up to you all to protect all that, right? Or help protect it. But yeah, it's about the wild places and our climate. This is the first one I did in the Glacier series. Steve and I sat down. He said something like, "Why don't you paint all the mammals in Glacier Park?" I said, "Wow, that sounds like a lot of work." It was. It took about 10, 12 years.
12 years?
Yeah. But anyway, by the time I started these though, I felt fairly proficient in the medium. So they're all on sale. This is only about half the exhibit. I have 12 or 13 more. But that was the first one. And then gradually I painted one by one through here, big bison. Even though, are there any bison in Glacier Park?
Yeah.
Not yet, but they're coming. There used to be. There used to be bison in Glacier Park, and they're bringing them back. I think through Indian tribes and so forth, which is fun. And if you look on the internet, you'll see bison in Yellowstone. People are trying to pet them and getting hurt. Yeah. So here's some of the little guys. You know, unfortunately, when I'm painting, you know, they have a lot of babies. And this one, 5 babies. They usually have more. There's little shrews. I mean, there's so many little guys. This is before it burned down. Why I painted rabbits that big, I have no idea. Just because I really like rabbits. And they are mammals. But those are all mammals. They all nurse their young. You know, even the tiniest. Where are the pica? You find the pica.
Yeah.
They're fun though. I love seeing those in the park. But they're kinds that just are so small they can crawl up on dry grasses. They're that small. They can crawl right up. So after this one, I said, "Boy, I think we're going to do something big with colorful." But wolverines, I had to look at those webcams in Glacier because you don't see a whole bunch of photos of wolverines, and they're pretty amazing animals, and I'm sure they're very ferocious. A lot of blue-orange, you may have noticed. I really like those colors, so I painted a lot. Mountain goats, iconic Glacier Park. The rocks were particularly fun to do. These 2 are probably the best selling of our reproductions, these 2, colorful. Interestingly.
Oh, is that coyote or fox?
That's a coyote, it's a very well-fed coyote. Artistic license, because usually coyotes are pretty skinny, aren't they? They don't get a lot to eat. But I particularly had fun, and now that you know about the salt, you see it just does interesting things throughout. But using no flow, I could do those horns with different colors and follow the contour. It's really fun. That was fun to do, and that was fun to do. This was a little harder because it's more realistic. But I had a great photo from a retired school teacher in Minnesota. Yes. And he said, "Go for it." And I said, "I can send him a picture." Yeah, those 2 though have been the most popular. I wanted to try snow on white silk, so I painted those guys. The little mountain lion has blue eyes, and they will turn yellow green when they get older. But I painted the whole thing, and then I got some acrylic ink, very fluid, toothbrushes, old toothbrushes, and different brushes, and practice on a piece of black construction paper, so that I got the splatter kind of figured out before I just ruined what I just spent weeks doing. Yeah, it's good to do that. Sometimes I cut out things, dark values of this, and say, be a stronger composition but I don't do it until I sort of feel confident, yeah, that's what it means. This painting was, these were all sponsored paintings, by the way, so people made a donation to help me with the framing. Because it took 12 years, I had to actually still make a living, right? Right, pay the mortgage and stuff, so, I love the frame on this one though. I wouldn't have put that eagle in there, but the gentleman who commissioned this one, his wife, her favorite place was, Chief Mountain, which is that wonderful edifice, and her favorite bird, she loved eagles, so compositionally, it's not the best, but it's the only place I can fit the beast. I think I'd already started designing it by the time yeah, so I went, oh no, I would have designed it differently if I knew about the eagle. But it's okay, it's those wonderful pronghorns, and they also don't live in Glacier Park, but they're trying to get them back. Definitely. Coyote, we talked about that. The kids like this one usually a lot, but it's got all the river bottom animals. River bottom, and then old growth forest, and then what's next? Plains, and then alpine. Nocturne, fun to try, just like this one was fun to do. Who can show me where the salt effect is on this one? Okay.
There's some up here.
Yes, very good. And okay.
On the coyote.
Yes. Very good. And
I know some here, right?
yes, yeah. This was all pretty accidental. Wow. Accident. The fact that this stuff ran up, and the fact that it's not accidental that it's purple behind it, because those are complementary colors, right? Purple, yellow on purpose. Purple on purpose. But the salt does interesting things sometimes, which is like that. It's like, wow. Yeah. Lime green, I really do like lime green. I've had old Angus ranchers come up to me at the Russell Show, literally nose to nose. Why the hell did you put lime green on the butt of that horse? And I used to love to say, I'd love to say, yeah, or oh no. And then he'd come back next year and say, I think I'm starting to get it. Moose in the snow, I think the background is my favorite part of that one. Salt. Yeah. The judicious use of salt. And I didn't put a lot of salt in his body because there was plenty of salt effect in that background. You didn't get carried away with salt. You had so much fun with it.
So you put the salt on and then
You have to, yes, you have, no, the color first, and then within 45 seconds to a minute, you have to get the salt in. So this had to be done very, big brush, big breath. Salt. Another layer. Salt. Another, I mean, literally, I had to do all of that within about a minute. That whole background, yeah, 1 minute, not 12 years, 1 minute. So, you know that, but you know, after you get used to the materials and you know what you kind of know what the effect is, you just have to go for it and try it and see if it works. I did it before I painted the moose, smart, because if I ruined it, I would have started over. So don't spend your entire time doing the more careful part and then blow it on the looser part. Does that make sense? Yeah. Generally speaking, we paint from general to specific, top to bottom, background to foreground. You know, light to dark in this medium, light to dark because it's water medium. In oil, you paint from dark to light. Acrylic too, I
So
suppose.
this one here,
Yeah,
2007, the calls from the headquarters of the park said, we want to commission a painting for the celebration of the 75th year of the building of the Golden Sun Road. We can't pay you.
Yes.
So we have to learn more about it, then sold at an auction, 4 families purchased it and gave it to the Hockaday.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and it's not necessarily typical of the other glacier pieces they have, but that's okay, you know, it's sort of Where's Waldo of Glacier Park, right? Because there's all kinds of critters in there, and there's a legend here that tells all of them. I think it's got 60 elements of animals, plants, Indian tribes that were either in the, they inhabited part of the park, Canadian, because we crossed International Peace Park, right, over the border, ptarmigans, the railway, but, the the suffragette who just got the vote. Hey, you gotta put that, because it was built about the same time as women got the vote, which is interesting. And the park ranger said, when he saw it, he said, you can't have a person standing up. I said, this is artistic license. If you had just gotten the vote, wouldn't you be standing up and celebrating? That's funny. Yeah. These are the surveyors. I put a woman in there because I know there was a woman. I looked through a lot of photographs and found one who was part of helping survey, because that's an engineering marvel. They cut that road out of that side of that mountain. It's pretty amazing.
How long did it take you to do this?
It took me about 10 months to do it, tree by tree. I would get, on about the 200th tree, I go, I gotta go do something a little more fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun in the end, but it was just a lot. I just had to do it step by step and animal by animal. Giant, that rabbit's too big in there too. I don't care. I don't know what I do. Large rabbits, he's almost as big as the moose. Okay, now find this one. I'll take a hint on the left side.
Said you can't have these three people off the wall.
You got it.
So close from the bear.
Yeah, so close to the bear.
Said, "Get over
If those of us who live in Montana, a lot of us have been that close to a bear. Hopefully a black bear who was friendly. I love it. Well, this piece, I sat with the ranger and a botanist or a biologist, etc., about 5 people back here in the back of the Hockadays. It's part of the Hockadays history now. And I interviewed them as I would a journalist, because actually that was my major in college. And it was kind of fun. So all their favorite elements, all their favorite things about this park. And there's hawks and mountain lions and all kinds of things if you look carefully. But yeah, I was glad when it was finished. I think it's nicely framed by Derek, frame of reference. And I think it usually hangs downstairs here at the museum, but I'm not absolutely sure. Bluebirds, I mean, I couldn't put all the animals in there, otherwise it really would be.
There's some hummingbirds in there too.
There's some hummingbirds, 2 different kinds, I think.
And
some,
the moon.
and a nuthatch, and a big sun or moon, whatever. Yeah. Look at the salt on that sun or moon.
And the moon. I love your moon snakes.
Now look how different that effect happened with that moon and this one.
Yes.
Quite different, and you can't predict that. You just have to go, okay, get the color on there, hope it doesn't leak. You gotta test your borders on your resist, and then get the salt on there and even look. And you just never know quite how it's gonna turn out. Those mountains took me a while to do because I was really trying to do realistic from that view. I had a lot of photographs of it. See the little red bus way up there. There's a couple of them. There's one way up there. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Well, thanks for coming.